All right, let's get started. So welcome to this course. This is the first slide, first day of Introduction to Java. And although it's basic, it is very fundamental as these are key concepts that can be applied to other coding languages, and more difficult, complex Java will be building off of this. So we are Robotics for All, a nonprofit organization that strives to teach and spread our passion for STEM. As you can see here, Java is represented by a little teacup. Each different coding language have their own universal symbol. So Java is a piping hot teacup, and Python, for example, is a diamond shape. And Java is a class-based, object-oriented, and case-sensitive programming language. For the folks who don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. We're going to learn about it. So Java is a top 10 language, and as you can see, JavaScript and Java, the names are similar, but they are different. So we will be coding in different environments. We'll introduce two of them to you. You can use your own if you already have them, but we're going to introduce two. One is Eclipse, and the other one is my personal favorite. It's Replit, REPL.IT. The coding environment will look like this if you use Eclipse. Now don't worry about the terms on the screen. We'll get to that. So we're going to start with a very basic, the very start of coding, print statements. So what does it mean to print? Well, printing in real life is like printing onto a piece of paper, right? And printing it out from computer out to us, the user. So just like that, in coding, we have printing from the console to printing out into the output so users can see. So this is how we would code it, the syntax. We have system.out.print, and the dot is covered, but it's .print. And whatever we want to write in quotation marks, we're going to say welcome to Java, and we end with a semicolon. And that semicolon is very important because it tells Java this is the line of code. And when you do later on more complex code, you're going to have multiple lines of code. And so Java needs to know where to separate it and what command is for what. So the semicolon is important. And that's a very common error and easy to fix. So here's an example. We always start the code with a class. So we always generally we can name the class anything we want, but for simpler reasons, let's use main. So class, main, parentheses. So that we always have a beginning parenthesis, an ending parenthesis, and then we put our code inside. So we always do class, a name, let's do main, beginning parenthesis, and then we'd always start just once. We start with a public static void main, string, args, and the brackets, and then another parenthesis, and that is when we'll put our code. So we're going to do system.out.print hello world, and then all our closing parenthesis. Another common error is that we forget to add a parenthesis. We forget to type out the closing parenthesis. So make sure every opening parenthesis needs a closing parenthesis. And what do you think this will print out? It's going to print out hello world with no space in between. So how do you think it will print this? We'll print, again, just like this, system.out.print hello, I like to code in parentheses. Now here's another type of print statement. This one is the same thing, system.out.print, but has an extra ln, stands for line. So this one, whatever you print on the next one, when you do another system.out.print ln, it'll go on the next line instead of if you see previously before we have it on the same line. Do you see? Even though there's two system.out.print, it prints out hello world below in just one line, no space. We see the red. So when we type something, it just automatically same line, no gap, hello, and now it's going to do something else. If we do print lin, we have hello. Now it automatically goes to the next line. So for example, we have our wonderful. We start with one class. We name it the main. open thing, parenthesis, and then our public static void main. You don't have to know what it means yet. We're just going to know that we always have to start like this, and another parenthesis, and then our code system.out.print, but this time a lin, hello, and this time a world. So do you see this prints out hello on the next line, world, whereas compared to before when we didn't have the print lin, it was just on one line. Now we're going to learn about little shortcuts in print statements. So we all like doing shortcuts, right? Control C, Control V. It's kind of like that. It's the same thing. So do you think this output is possible with just one print statement instead of lots of print statements one by one? Only one print statement contain all of this? Now if you said yes, you are correct. The /n automatically goes to next line. So println again goes on next line. The /n also goes to next line. /t is a tab, so if you want to print an extra tab, there you go. So when we print, generally, we have whatever we write into the parenthesis prints out, right? System.print, and then parenthesis, whatever into parenthesis, print out. But for just the backslash only, we'll need to tell Java, hey, we want to print a backslash because backslashes have other features. And so if you don't state explicitly, we just want to print it out, it'll have an error. So if you want to just print out backslash, you'll need to do double backslash, but it'll only print out one backslash. And then to print a quotation mark, again, because quotation mark serve as a system.out.print inside like that, serves as a string. That's a type of character, but we'll get to different characters later on. But all you have to know is that it tells Java that we're going to print whatever is inside. But if we just want to print a quotation mark and not print what we want to print inside a quotation mark, we'll need to do a backslash and then quotation mark, and it'll print a quotation mark. So let's test some more. Let's do comments. So what is a comment? Well, comments generally in everyday life, like writing an essay, watching a video, right? We write what we feel, we write our edits, we write what we think on the side. Same thing with coding. We use 2 slashes and then we write whatever we want. Java won't run this. It won't recognize what we write. So it will not run it as a piece of code. Nothing will happen. It'll just skip through it because it knows this is for us user only, for us humans, for us coders to look at it only. So later on, when there's a lot of code and lots of sections, you may want to remind yourself, or if you're working in a team, right? If you're working a big tech company, you're not the only one who's coding a project. You're working as a team with other people. And so other people may not know what you're doing. So you'll put this over the code to tell your teammate or remind yourself in the future, hey, this section of the code does this. So for example, we write the comment, my program. So now we know, okay, this is my program. Java doesn't care about that. Nothing happens. It's just for ourselves. And you have infinite comments, although typing the slashes and then what you're going to type over and over is quite a hassle. So we have the multi-line syntax. If you have a lot of things to write out, and writing so many comments on so many lines is just not efficient. We have a slash and then a star, and then we can write whatever we want over over multiple lines. It doesn't have to be on one line. It can be on any line as long as we want. We just end it with a star and slash, and that section automatically becomes a comment section. And again, Java doesn't care about it. It's for us only. So for example, we have this. Look at all these comments. Now we don't have to do anything. We only have to write whatever we want and the star and the slash, compared to before where we had to write a slash for each line. Now we're going to learn about concatenation. I know it sounds fancy. When I first learned Java, I was like, oh, what's concatenation? It's freaking me out. Don't worry about it. Concatenation is just a fancy way of saying combining 2 strings together. So we have an example. System.out.println, and then hello, and then plus word, and it prints out hello world. Again, we have another hello plus everyone. And what do you think this will print out? Yeah, it'll print out hello everyone. So yeah, that is for today. We learned about concatenation, adding strings together, printing multiple strings together, printing, and then we also learned about some shortcuts that are really nice. We also learned the difference between print and println. And thank you everyone, and I hope to see you in the next video. Let's continue.